Betrayed by Desire, a story of forbidden love. There are moments in life when we find ourselves teetering on the edge of a decision we never thought we would make. A decision that could shatter everything we've built, destroy the trust that's been cultivated over the years, and change our lives forever. For me, that decision came in the form of desire I never asked for, desire that betrayed me. I have a family, a life many would envy. My husband, Jonathan, is a man of integrity, the kind of man you could rely on. We've been married for 12 years, raising our 2 children in a house filled with laughter, love, and the occasional argument, just like any other marriage. But behind the laughter, behind the smiles, there was always a gap, an unspoken distance that grew wider with time. And then there was Adam. Adam was my brother's best friend. He was younger, vibrant, full of life, and everything I wasn't anymore. The chemistry between us was immediate, but I didn't act on it. I couldn't. I was married. I loved Jonathan. But love, as it turns out, is never as simple as we think it is. I should have known better. But I didn't. Adam first entered our lives during a family gathering. Jonathan and I had been invited to my brother's birthday party, and Adam was there, as always. I had known him for years, but that night something shifted. I couldn't quite place it, but there was a tension in the air, a silent understanding that neither of us dared to acknowledge. We talked. We laughed. We reminisced about old times. And yet, every time Adam's eyes lingered on mine, I felt a jolt of something forbidden. A pull, a magnetic force that I couldn't explain. His gaze was intense, but there was something more. Something that made me feel seen in a way I hadn't in years. The attention he gave me, the compliments that felt a little too intimate, it was too much. But I told myself I was imagining things. After all, I was married. I had a family, but Adam wasn't just anyone. He wasn't just my brother's best friend. He was something else entirely. And the more time we spent together, the more I couldn't ignore it. The chemistry between us was undeniable. Every word, every touch, every moment we shared felt like an electric current, a spark that grew hotter with every passing day. One evening, after a few too many drinks, Adam and I found ourselves alone in the living room. The house was quiet, the party long over, and the stillness of the night hung heavy in the air. I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me. I could feel the space between us closing inch by inch. My heart raced, my palms were clammy, and my thoughts were clouded by the unspoken tension. "You know, I've always admired you," Adam said, his voice low, barely above a whisper. I could feel my breath catch in my throat. I didn't know how to respond. His words were like a spell, and I couldn't break free. "I've always thought you were different," he continued, his gaze never leaving mine. "There's something about you that makes me want to know you in a way I shouldn't." My heart pounded in my chest. My mind screamed at me to stop this, to pull away, to remember who I was, who I belonged to. But the part of me that had been ignored for so long, the part that craved attention, affection, passion, came to life in that moment. I had forgotten what it was like to be desired. I had forgotten what it was like to feel alive. Before I could say a word, Adam leaned in. His lips brushed against mine, tentative at first, but then with a force that sent shivers down my spine. I didn't pull away. Instead, I kissed him back, and in that moment, I knew there was no turning back. The days that followed were a blur. The guilt, the shame, the excitement, it all collided in a storm of emotions. I tried to go back to normal. I tried to be the wife Jonathan deserved, the mother my children needed. But Adam was everywhere. Every time I saw him, every time we spoke, I was reminded of the moment we shared. The kiss, the passion, the desire that I couldn't control. I avoided him, of course. I told myself it was a mistake, that it was just a moment of weakness, but it wasn't. It was something more. It was a longing I couldn't ignore. Every time Jonathan looked at me, I saw the man I had built my life with, the man I had promised to love forever. But every time Adam looked at me, I saw something different. Something that made me question everything I thought I knew about love, about loyalty. The temptation became unbearable. I found myself sneaking away from family events, lying to Jonathan about where I was going. I would meet Adam in secret in dark corners, in hidden places where no one could see us. But even in the darkness, I couldn't escape the truth. I was betraying the person who had given me everything. Climax. One night, Adam and I found ourselves alone again. This time, there were no excuses, no distractions. Just the two of us in the quiet of the house. Jonathan was out of town on a business trip, and the kids were at a sleepover. The silence between us was deafening, and the tension was palpable. "I can't keep doing this," I whispered, my voice shaking. "I love my husband. I love my family. but I don't know what to do anymore. Adam stepped closer to me, his hand gently resting on my cheek. You don't have to choose, he said, his voice soft but filled with conviction. You can have both. You can have me too. I wanted to push him away. I wanted to stop this madness before it went any further. But the truth was I didn't want to stop. The pull between us was too strong, too powerful. And in that moment, I let go of everything. I kissed him again, and this time, there was no hesitation. No guilt. Just desire. The days that followed were a whirlwind. I tried to keep up the facade of a happy family, but the truth was I couldn't hide what I was doing anymore. The guilt was eating me alive, and every time I saw Jonathan, I felt like I was suffocating. Adam and I were more than just lovers now. We were inextricably linked, bound by a secret that could ruin everything. I knew that one day someone would find out. Someone would see through the lies, through the mask I wore. But the thought of losing Adam, of losing the desire that had consumed me, was too much to bear. And then one day it happened. Jonathan found out. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It wasn't a grand revelation. It was a small, quiet moment. I had left my phone unlocked and Jonathan saw the messages. The flirtations, the confessions, the promises. He didn't say anything at first. He just stood there, staring at me, the hurt in his eyes unmistakable. I don't know what's worse, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. The fact that you betrayed me, or that you couldn't even tell me the truth. I stand here now on the edge of losing everything. My marriage, my family, the life I thought I had. All of it gone. All because of a desire I couldn't control. A temptation I couldn't resist. I don't know what will happen next. Maybe I'll lose Adam, maybe I'll lose Jonathan. Maybe I'll lose both. But the one thing I know for sure is that nothing will ever be the same. And I can never undo the choices I've made. Have you ever been faced with a temptation so strong, so overwhelming, that it led you to betray someone you love? What would you do if you were in my shoes? Share your thoughts, your stories, or your feelings in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Join me on this journey and stay tuned for more stories that reveal the deepest corners of the human heart.